बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. As usual, before we begin Sri Ramcharitmanas, let us invoke the presence of Sri Hanuman. It is said that wherever Sri Ramcharitmanas is being read, that Sri Hanuman is always present. For him, the ultimate is the divine name of Prabhu Sri Ramchandra. And that name spells the ultimate to Sri Hanuman.
Sometimes you leave it there, you put it on
आइए हनुमंत विराजिए कथा कहूँ मति अनुसार प्रेम सहित गदी धरु पढ़ाए पवन कुमार सियावर रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम शंकर हरि. Come Hanuman, I'm about to recite Sri Ram's Katha as far as my knowledge permits me. Please come and be seated amongst us. Let your divine energy radiate within this ashram, and let us all feel that divine energy exploding within us. Divine energy of Prabhu Shri Rama, and indeed your own energy, O Shri Rama. Please come and be seated. Please accept this wonderful seat that we have offered this morning, and let the divine energy radiate within all of us, so that at the end of this session, you would have been all blessed by your presence. For this we ask in your most holy name. Principal Paran Putra Hanuman ki jai. So just to recap what took place very briefly, there were two situations that changed the thinking of Lord Shankara. And one was the fact that Mother Parvati spoke the untruth to him. And secondly, a very grave mistake, she took the form of Mata Janaki, whom Lord Shankara he respects and honors as Divine Mother. So on these two counts, he was very much disappointed, and he made a promise, that I cannot allow to go on like this. I can only accept her with a change of body. In this present situation, I cannot accept her. So that was a promise that he made to himself. But the saints and sages, the Devgans, they had an idea. And they praised Lord Shankara for making that promise. And when they thundered that voice and say, behold, we are indeed very happy to hear you make that promise. Mother Sati was in the dark. She didn't know what took place. And she's asking, tell me, what is that promise you have made? What is that promise? And I began from that point. In Doha, it's a double Doha, so sing both Doha together. Said that even though Sati questioned Lord Shankara as to what happened, he spoke not a word. He did not say anything. So in this doha, Sati Vijay Anuman Kiya Sabu Janeo Sarva. At that point, she guessed within her mind, she's thinking now that this omniscient Lord Shiva knew all that she had done. She came to realize that this is the stand that he has taken because he knew what she had done. Even though she had not revealed it, he knew what she had done. That she now come to that conclusion. Kinha kapat mai samhusana nari sahaj jar agya. It says, kapat is deceit. It says, I have deceived Shambhu. She now recognized, I have deceived Shambhu, she realized. And she's saying, Nari sahaj jar, I'm foolish, senseless woman, to have done that. You know, I have done the wrong thing.
Did she really deceive Shiva, deceive herself?
Well, actually, for herself.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
Self-deception, we call it. Anyway.
You see, in the process,
Right.
what she has, the danger was more on her side rather than Shiva's side.
Okay, Shiva knew already.
Yeah,
so
he already knew.
Then who was Shiva?
So in this sutta by saying that the Doha,
Right.
he says, Jalu payasarasa kahai dekahu priti ki riti bhari. He gives a very beautiful illustration here, Tulsidas, in his brilliance, his indelible writing. He says that water mixed with milk is also sold as milk.
Yep.
Water and milk, even though you add the water, nothing, you can't distinguish that it has changed.
Right.
It remains, it holds itself together. He said, but in the same way with love. Love remains the same. Once there is that focus, means the same thing is there. The interest is the same. The water and the milk, the interest is the same. Because there is no difference when you add that water to the milk. But he says, Belaga hoi rasujai kapatu kathai paratapuni. He says, let a drop of acid fall in the milk. What happens? It splits the milk. You see the water goes one side and milk goes one side. And that acid is the deceit that she did. That kapat. That is what, when she introduced that separated the love. And it says that caused the love to disappear. The moment you lie in a relationship, that's what happens. It is like drop that acid in the milk.
Right.
Yeah. So in short, by Santorizar sings. reflecting in her mind, internal reflection. Now sometimes when you go deep within, then you begin to see the true picture. On the surface, things look differently. But she is thinking deeply now that I have done a thorough wrong. She's saying here, Hridaya socha samujhata nijakarani chinta amit jai nahi badani. She began to reflect deeply within herself on what she had done. Tulsidas says her heart was torn. Because anybody, after some time, you realize you have made a mistake, and it does impact heavily on you. Especially when you know you are the one who is wrong. And Tulsidas says inexpressible sorrow and boundless anxiety. Chinta, amit, boundless anxiety. Not just anxiety, but boundless anxiety means a sort of eternal regret that she's undergoing. Kripa Sindhu means ocean of grace. Kripa Sindhu Shiva Param Agadha. She says that Shiva is an ocean of grace. Param Agadha meaning he is beyond fathom, he's fathomless. You know, in his terms of his mercy, his grace, his benediction, he's fathomless. You can't fathom that. He's beyond the ordinary. So Shiva, she thought, is an ocean of grace, but an ocean no man can fathom. We can't say he is this or he's that. You know, as the Vedas say, when trying to describe Lord, it says, not this, not that,
Neti,
not
neti.
this, neti, nigamakaha. The Vedas are saying that he is not this, not that. What that means is that if we say we want to describe Lord and say the Lord is this, he envelops all this, he is that and more than that. So you can't say he's this, he's beyond. If you say he's that and also beyond that. So he's limitless, infinite. So she's saying now, Kripa Sindhu Shiva Parmagada Pragatana Kahiru Mora Parada. He says, Shiva is an ocean of grace, but an ocean that none can fathom. And that is why he has not openly mentioned my offense, aparad. He didn't. You see, he has that perfect love for her also. But what he said, because of the nature of that, what she did, he can't now keep on, maintaining that same relationship. But he is not aside from that love. He is love itself. So he said, for her aparad, for that offense that she had made, I cannot really completely discard her. She still has that affection. So he said in Chopai, Taju Hriday Akulani. At that point, she read Shiva's thoughts. He didn't disclose, but she read his thoughts, because putting things together and going deep within, she's able now to conjecture certain things. And she's saying, she read Shiva's thoughts in his face. And she looks and she knows, this is not the Shiva I know. This is not what I always see. There is something much more than what I normally see. And she saw that there is a difference, a complete difference. And sometimes we are able, they say the mind, or the face is the mirror of the mind, but sometimes that happens. So Shiva's thoughts, she read Shiva's thoughts in his face, and realizing that her Lord had abandoned her, she was bitterly distressed in her heart. You see, Prabhu Mohi Tajehu Hriday Akulani. She's deeply distressed in her heart, knowing that the Lord has abandoned her. He's not the person that I have known. He's completely different. And in her deep reflection, she's thinking, it brought great distress to her heart. But more than that, Nija agasamujina kachukahi jahi tapayo awa iwa ur adhikai. When she thought of a sin, when she realizes the magnitude of a mistake, she could not utter a word. What defense can you make when you are wrong? You understand? There is no defense. But tapai awa iwa ur adhikai. Her heart smoldered like a furnace. What comes from a furnace? Pure heat and fire. That was the state of her mind. Her heart is like this furnace burning. And look at the thoughts she's thinking of. Tulsidas says this in Chaupai. Sati hi sasocha jani vikaketu kahi katha sundar sukhitu. Shiva perceived in his mind now, he knew that Sati is deeply troubled. And even at that point, he has the tender feelings for her. He knew. He never wanted to see her in this type of thing. But
based upon the magnitude of the error that she had made, he have to carry on that. Because if he does otherwise, then all the injunctions of the Vedas and all scriptural teachings, that will go to naught. So when he perceived that she was sorrowful, he began to Kahi Katha Sundar Suktani. He began to amuse her with pleasant tales. Sundar Katha, beautiful stories. And Baranata Panta Bibid Itihasa Vishwanatha Pahuche Kailasa. So they were walking, they were going to Kailash, and he's recounting various legends, the Itihas.
Stories.
Stories. So as to get her out of the doldrums, to remove the sorrow and the sadness. And Vishwanatha Pahuche Kailasa. As you are doing that, they reach the Vishwanath. They came to Kailash. So up to then, as they reached the Kailash, he was narrating these various legends to her, in order that he would soothe her mind of that. So he continues in Chaupai. So one more Chaupai before you do her Tulsidas sings.
Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Rama Sri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Rama Sri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Pan means promise. When he went there, he reached Kailash. He changed a bit, but he realized if he continued in that strain, the promise he made, that would go to naught. So he took it from that point. He says he's recalling his vow, and he sat down beneath the banyan tree in the lotus posture, Kamal Asan. In the yogic posture, the lotus posture, he sat down in meditation. He realized he cannot continue like that. And Sankara Sahaja Sarupa Samara Lagi Samadhi Akhand Apara. And commuting with his own self, thinking within himself, he went into deep meditation and he fell endless into an unbroken trance. This deep, completely lost from the world, in that deep trance, and he's thinking deep within himself. And thinking like that, he was lost in this trance. And that trance took a very long time. We'll know how long that takes in the next time.
Spiritual world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bring my lesson in this morning in Chopai in Doha Tulsidas sings. Sati basahi Kailash tab adhika socha manamahi. In the meanwhile, Sati dwelt in Kailash, she remained in Kailash, sorrowing grievously. She remained there because there's no one to talk to. Lord Shiva is in a deep sleep, so to speak. So she could only just look at him. No conversation. And Madamuna Ko Janakachu, no one knew anything of a secret. You see, he never disclosed to the world what had happened. But eventually the world knows. You know, but he never disclosed to anyone why he took that stance. So he never belittled her in that context. You know? So no one knew anything of her secret. And Yug San Divas Sirahi. She's saying that each day that passed by seemed like a yug, an age.
Endless, yeah.
You know? And anytime one is in difficulty, a second is like years. You know, whenever you are in great difficulty, each moment passes like an eon. And that is how she felt. So in this morning's Katha, we realize how Lord Shankara, in spite of all that had happened, he still had that soft spot. He never belittled her in any way. He never let anyone know what was it. But deep within himself, he had that full knowledge of what has happened, why he had to take that stance. In order to uphold the dignity and honor of the Vedas and the Puranas and all the scriptural injunctions, he had to take that stance. And he set a plain course for all mankind to follow. You know, there is no other way but the way. Prem se lo siyava Ramachandra Bhagwan Jai. Prem se lo Mahapati Mahadeo.
Imagine a judge, got to judge his own son.
Yeah.
Crime he has done. What is he going to do? Hey, this is my son. I got to be lenient to him, or do I apply the law, fairly to all? And that's a very serious situation sometimes that we put ourselves in. And it's not an easy solution to those things. But mentioning that, if you try to deceive somebody, but the person knows already your deception, you're deceiving your own self. It's not the other person. But if you perpetrate something and you deceive and you fool the person, he took action and that okay, you have deceived the other person. But Lord Shiva knew already. You see? So she couldn't deceive him. She deceived her own self because of self-deception.
It's worse. It's worse in that scenario.
Yep.
But if you are my friend and you have deceived me and I know that you have deceived me.
That's right.
Right? But just I play the game with you. You know? But then you know exactly who the person is.
That's right. It becomes a double whammy against her. And her heart was very, very heavy with that.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing in life.
Daddy,
But she has to be a personal responsibility.
watching, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
People watching online, tell them thanks for watching.
To those who are there online, or grateful thanks this morning for joining with us. It's a pleasure to have you all, and may Sri Ram bless you all richly. May Lord Shankara and Mother Parvati extend their very kind graces to all of you. Prem se lo siya Ramayan.